Welcome to the Do Zone, where entrepreneurs go to get things done. I'm your host, Josh Thomas. You can find me on all social media at JT Literally. Each week, I bring on experts from a variety of backgrounds to share their secrets on how to optimize performance so you can take massive action and crush your goals. If you want help to bring in quick cash and wins for your business in as little as the next 7 days, I'm going to give you a simple framework that has worked for me and my clients time and time again at no cost to you. Go to factor1.io now and enter your email for immediate access. Once again, that's factor1.io. Today's guest is Sharon Baker. Sharon has extensive experience and expertise as a business development leader, coaching skills development, and providing training in systems and processes, and has worked in this capacity for some of the largest global technical companies. Practical and training experience illustrated to Sharon the fundamental elements of how to build successful businesses, business development capability, and measurable outcome, and importantly, what works and what doesn't. Sharon, welcome to the Do Zone. Tell us something you believe is the key to getting stuff done that most people wouldn't think of.
I'm not sure whether most people don't think of it, but what is consistent, what is a key message for me is consistency versus intensity. So I work in sales and business development with my clients. And if you work at that consistently, you get much more sustainable results. Whereas what I often observe is people work in intensity. So they're delivering a lot of the time and then they realize they need more work. So they get very intense about that and then they get carried away with delivery again. So consistency versus intensity is always one thing I'm always pushing.
Strong way to start the conversation. Consistency versus intensity. It's kind of the tortoise versus the hare argument in
Yes.
a business sense. It is much more important that we keep putting one foot in front of the other on a regular basis than giving these big bursts of speed and energy, because those burn out really fast and then we need to rest and recover.
Yes. True.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. And I think also there might be kind of a balance between that, because sometimes you need that intensity to create the momentum, and
Mm.
that allows the consistency to happen. And sometimes you need that consistency to build up the speed and endurance so that you can even be intense in the first place. And so where would you say we can strike the perfect balance between those two?
Yes, that's a really good point. So intensity, sales and business development is all about building those client relationships. And that early part of that relationship can be quite intense. So you've got to be responsive. You've got to have a process that you're following through with them. So you're building that trusted relationship. Once you have that trusted relationship, you can build in that consistency, making sure you are staying in contact. There's lots of different ways to stay in contact with your clients, and keeping that relationship developing.
And so one of the things that you specialize in, Sharon, is managing those key accounts that are kind of maintaining and sustaining us, and also managing the sales pipeline. And it kind of goes back to that initial message about consistency over intensity, rather than going out on this sprint to go and get a bunch of new business. You're more focused on, what do I do to keep my key clients happy and delivering a high value and maintaining the sales pipeline that I've already put in place. And so what are some of your tactics that you've developed over the years for that?
Okay, so one of the key things is always to have a plan, I believe. If you have a plan, you know where you're going, you know when you're off plan, you know when the plan has to change. So, depending on when your financial year starts and finishes, if you work on a calendar year, then you would be focused on your client account plans now, if not having started them in November and December. And your current account plans is a reflection of the revenue that you've delivered to them to date the services you're selling, the relationships that you've got, and where you want to take that relationship for the next year. So having that plan is critical. I always find you need to visit that plan every quarter to see how well you have planned. If the environment has changed with your client, um, if you need to change with your client. And then once you have your plan, then you're working your pipeline on a weekly basis from then on. And so with me, Josh, I work with clients who have a seller doer model, which probably you and your audience know about. So sometimes 80% of people's time is delivering the work that they've sold, managing the businesses, managing the teams. Then they have this extra 10, 20% that they can use to grow their business. And so how do you use that in the most efficient way? So you've got maybe 2 to 4 hours a week and that you can focus on growing your business. You need to use those really well, be very targeted and focused on what you want to achieve in that time.
Makes a lot of sense. And so really breaking this down and being systematic about making sure that everything is staying on track and checking in on that, because sometimes we tend to veer off just a little bit. And if we're going
Yeah.
through our regular routine day to day and we're 1 degree off, well, after 30 days, we're 30 degrees off. And that's quite a bit.
Yes. Yeah,
You know,
it is.
that's the
It
difference
is.
between me ending in England and ending in Australia if you go long enough,
That's right. Exactly.
depending
Exactly
on where
that.
your point of origin. So so
Yeah.
that kind of consistent course correction. And one of the things that I like to refer to in that situation is just called the North Star. If you know
Yeah.
where the North Star is, you're going to veer here and there, but if you're always course correcting, you should still land in your destination no matter what.
That's an excellent analogy. I may use that going forward.
Steal it. I stole it from somebody else. So
It's great. I love it.
and so now we got to get down to some real business here, because apparently you are also an avid stand-up paddleboarder like me. I have 2 stand-up paddleboards, and it's very rare to find somebody else that's into that. So tell me more. What's paddleboarding like in Australia?
On the Sunshine Coast, you talked about the Gold Coast. So north of Brisbane is the Sunshine Coast, and we're 2 blocks away from a passage of water called the Pumicestone Passage. And it is excellent for stand-up boarding. And we just love it. My partner and I, we go out there quite often, and I like it because I mean we kayak and we boat and jet ski, but stand-up paddleboarding is quite peaceful if you don't have motors running past you. But it's lovely just going around the edges of the coastline.
Yeah, and there's something about, I know this isn't a podcast about water sports, but there's just something about being out there on the water and being standing up. It's almost like you're walking on water and you're like gliding across it. It's just something that you can't replicate that experience in a kayak. It's just, and it's like total freedom.
Yes, yes. Do
So
you do it on the waves? Are you on the ocean when you do that?
no, I live in a landlocked area. It has a big river that runs through the middle of the city, and so it's a kind of an urban lake, if you will, and
Yeah.
it's very calm. But
Oh, no,
yeah,
yeah,
I don't know if I could handle the all the rocking.
I do. I don't.
Yeah, awesome. So Sharon, tell us a little bit more about what you do, and how people can connect with you, and who's a good candidate to reach out.
Um, okay, so I work with a broad spectrum. I've worked with in the corporate world for most of my career, you know, companies that are $14 billion, you know, global companies. What my clients, I've got a range of clients now. So I've got clients who are starting off. So the first thing is they need to just have in their first year an income to keep their, their homes going and everything. So that might be 250,000. And then after that first year, they want to grow to 1 million. And then the next leap is from 1 million to 5 million, and then from 5 million to over 20 million. And so each one of those clients requires a different different expertise to help them. If you're looking at clients that say 5 million, you've got to help them with their CRMs, coaching their teams in business development, because a lot of these are professionals that have been through university but never studied. Nobody's ever taught them how to sell or do business development, and so it's quite scary because they don't know. And so I then help them understand their business development process, and then work with them on a weekly basis for an hour, and I might do some one-on-one coaching outside that 1 hour as well. And the whole aim, the North Star, is what revenue do you want to achieve this year? And what clients are going to get you there, what services are going to get you there, and what activities are going to get you there.
I love it. Getting clear on the plan and the materials that you need to get there are essential to success. And so where can we go to connect with you and learn more?
You can go to my website, which is I'll just put it here. It's Sharon Baker and Co. So you've got .com.au. You can email me at sharon@sharonbakerco.com.au, or you can phone me. And Australia is +61. It's 400 465 307.
Yep. But if you're in the US, realize they're probably like 15 hours ahead. So don't call Sharon in the middle of the night.
That's right. It's early here now. I still have children sound asleep in the other part of the house.
There you go. Sharon Baker, everybody. We're going to go ahead and wrap up for here. And thanks for coming on and sharing a little bit of wisdom about how you get things done. For those of you who want to connect with Sharon directly, you can go to sharonbakerco.com.au and reach out to her. And then she also left her phone number. So if you want to call her, just make sure and be mindful of what time it is. So we're going to wrap up from here. Whether you're on your morning commute, you're in the gym, or somewhere out in the field, snap a selfie. Tag me at JT Literally. Show me what you do while you're in the do zone. And one more time, if you need a quick injection of cash in your business right now, got a free gift for you. Just go to factor1.io, enter your email, and I'll give you immediate access. Know this, you are Factor One for your own success. Now, let's get to work.